So I'm Sayyaf here with Sajeetharan. You might know if you have been following our social media recently, who is a top contributor in Stack Overflow. And today in our TM Tech Talk, we are actually going to talk about something which help us to build our technology skills and all, making a difference other than we are following these platforms and all. So into the world of Stack Overflow with Sajeetharan. So I'll tell like so Stack Overflow is where developers learn, share, and build your careers. That's their title. But to get a better understanding about Stack Overflow, I think Sajeetharan is the best person. So Saji, what is Stack Overflow?
Actually, if you have heard of people say Stack Overflow is a programmer's friend. So one of the aim that they had initially when they started Stack Exchange, it was actually started by two of the colleagues. So they wanted to make a revolution that question and answering forum should be like trustable. So if you look at some of the sites such as YouTube, if you share a content, it goes viral, even though it is bad or good. But if you take Stack Overflow, there is a surety that quality content is delivered. So if you say there are 7 million programmers who have been active on Stack Overflow and sharing the content, the experience. So it's a better reflection of what do you do in the profession. So that's about it. Yeah.
Cool.
And to add on that, it has everything. Like if you take Wikipedia, it's a combination of Wikipedia, Reddit, and forums and blogs. If you take Wikipedia, you can edit the content again and again. Like if I post one answer, if you feel that answer is something, you can make elaborate. So you can contribute to that and elaborate it. And Reddit, as they follow the ranking system, which makes the developers to contribute more. So here we have the reputation. And then forum, you can comment on the question and you can chat with each of the developer and you can contribute as well. And if you see blog, like if you write a good blog and you can share it on the answer question, you can link to it so you get more visitors to your blog. And then there is a reason for contributing. Like if you are a programmer, you have to give something back to the community. So if there is, that is one of the reason. And you need to learn every day. Like there are technologies keep getting updated, so that is one of the source. And then it keeps an, like people have to keep an eye on you. Like if you make an identity into the world, you have to contribute something to the world. And then, as of course, if you love to do it, you will be doing it, sure. So that's the introduction for Stack Overflow. Yeah.
Yeah, I think in this session we can actually discuss all those stuff very deeply, which will help you guys to get hang with Stack Overflow and gain some reputation and etc. So another question I have is to start with Stack Overflow. Most of the people I have seen is like they don't have enough motivation to start with it. They feel like it is a very restricted forum. If they ask questions, they would get downvotes and all. So I think since you have very good experience with asking questions, it would be better if you can share your experience on like how to start with Stack Overflow on asking questions and all. Before asking questions, like how to get the like first step, first start.
Yeah, good question. So back in 2010, I started to contribute to Stack Overflow. When I posted the first question, I get so many downvotes. And after that, I didn't go to the site and I didn't have a idea on how to continue it. But when I see like I was interested in C# technology. So most of the questions were answered by this guy, John Skate. He's the author of C# in depth. So he's my motivation in Stack Overflow. So I used to follow him, the way he answers and the way he supports other guys to post answers. So if you are a new guy to the Stack Overflow, how you can start is one of the motivation, you have to create your own identity and then try answering the questions which you are familiar with. Some of the technologies, say for Angular, you can, there's a search tab, you can filter the questions which keeps on getting updated. So you can get those filters applied and you can keep on answering them. Even if you get a downvote, you don't care about it, you keep on repeating the answer. Like assume you are a startup, you are a guy who is going to start a startup. Like it starts with an idea, right? You don't have money, assume money is the reputation here. And you have an idea that is going to be the answer or question that is you're going to post. and you keep on repeating, improving the answer so that you will get more reputation. So that is the idea behind here. So yeah, you should start with the minimum viable answer and keep on improving it. That's a way to get more upvotes and the reputation keeps on going. Yeah, that's it.
True. So I also would like to share something like when I was starting with Stack Overflow, I had like I didn't know how to ask a question, so I followed up some questions that are asked, and actually I had a problem that I really need to find a solution. So I asked my first question. It was okay. I didn't get downwards, but I didn't get answers for those questions. So since I was searching about it, I realized actually since I actually had only one reputation, so some people tend to answer, but the answers are not enough to solve my problem. So I realized that having some reputation to ask more questions and get some answers for your question would help. So what I did was I spent a Saturday night and I went through like the easiest questions that have been asked at that moment, mostly in JavaScript and Angular. So I answered those questions, and in that weekend I could grab some like 80 reputations, and then I actually realized by the time I got enough answers and best quality answers. So that's the thing. So and then we talked about how to start with Stack Overflow. I think I touched on to ask a question, you need to have some reputation. But there are times that question doesn't get answered in this larger community, right? As I said. So you said like asking a question to get answer, that's okay. But how like there are questions that are not answered in this larger community because of some reasons. uh, Sometimes question is not enough like enough detailed, or maybe that is very broad.
Yeah.
So I think you can touch something on how you can ask like very good questions.
Yeah, okay. The question is how to ask a good question on Stack Overflow. So, when you talk about it, you should not directly post the problem that you like. If it's a syntax error, you should not post that. It should be precise. Like you have to post, I tried this X solution and here is my code and it doesn't work and I can't figure out why. So you have to put the piece of code that doesn't work and you have to put the piece of code that actually reproduce the problem. So that's the one way of making a good question. Like the moment you post your question, it stays in the Stack Overflow. Even if you delete it, it won't go away. Like don't post the question and run away. Like the people will tend to ask more information about it and they will edit the question that you post. And there is something called rubber, like as you heard of debugging, rubber duck debugging. So asking question and answering yourself is a better way to start the initial thing, and then you can keep on continuing it. Yeah, and you
Yeah.
can read a book about writing a good question about Stack Overflow. As I mentioned earlier, John Skid, he has written a blog, so you can read about it. Yeah.
So yeah, and I also would like to add something to that. I have faced like scenarios where I have asked question, but like for that question, there is answer in the documentation of that technology stack itself. So it's better to like do a proper research on the problem that you have, and then get the and then if you cannot solve that by yourself, you ask that question in Stack Overflow.
To share my experience, the first question I posted was related to Silverlight. I
Okay.
was not able to get any answer, and there is another question that I posted on JavaScript. Actually, I posted why this function is not working. Immediately, I got like 10 downvotes. So, and I couldn't delete the question because one of the guy has answered it. So that is one of the experience that I would like to share, so that you can, whenever you ask some question, you can like put the precise problem and then you can explain more about it so that people will get answer. Yeah.
That's some interesting stuff. So we actually talk about asking questions, but in this community, it's not only about you are getting something, right? Maybe there are people who just don't ask questions, but they actually follow the questions that are already asked, and then you are getting something from through that. So asking questions. And then if we go to something that you contribute to the community, you have to answer questions that you know that you are good at. So rather than saying like how to answer a question, I think it's better to ask my question like how to write better answers for the
Yeah.
question to get some good reputation.
Actually, the most of the reputation, if you see, it comes from the answers that you post. For question, you get 5 reputation if you get upvote, but for answers, you get bounty questions. Like if you post an answer for a bounty question, you get like number of upvotes. It depends on the answer you post, if it's accepted by the questionnaire. And then for writing the best solution for a question, you have to put step by step like answers. If you're writing algorithm, you have to explain what does this step do. So you have to explain, and it's always better to attach the links that is related to it. It could be a blog post or anything, and then they are providing a code snippet that you can attach with the answer. Stack Overflow itself has plus the code formatting, so you have to always format your code, and then give credits to the author. Like if you are taking answer from somewhere, you have to give credits to them by mentioning their URL or something. And then if it's if you feel that some other answers is outdated, then it's better to post your answer so that it comes to the top. So those are the ways of answering the questions, I would say.
Yeah, cool. So I have some experience with that as well, because there was a question regarding Angular CLI. It's about a command, so that command is not working anymore in that. But the accepted answer was a guy who is working at the CLI, but he had only one reputation, if I'm not wrong. And then I actually added the reason why it is not working, why it is deprecated, and also some reason to that, and it has got like 6 upvotes so far. So
It's great.
I that actually validate your point that you said you can answer even the question that is not even that is accepted, but the answer is outdated.
Yeah.
Cool. Uh, and also something that I came across, like when I was like interestingly answering for the questions, there was this thing like you actually when you're having your free time, you answer the questions. So you tend to give the answer, right? To try to get the reputation. So I gave an answer. I wrote an answer for one question, and then I got a downvote. Even that answer is like. Even that answer is like the proper answer for that question.
So there is
And
a thing
yeah,
like I would like to share. Like if you post a question that is already there, that is not a better way to post your question, because uh, as a moderator, there are moderators. Like if you get more than 10,000 reputation, you have the access to the moderator tools that you will be able to download the question and close the question and edit the question if you feel that if the questioner is trying to ask something, but the way the question is like you need to format, then you can do that. So in this case, like there are answers which have been already, so in that case you should not post the answer again. So the moderators will always downvote your answer even though it is correct. So it's always better to post a comment attaching to the already existing answer, or if you feel that the answer is a simple like syntax error, then it's always better to post it as a comment.
cool. I think that will help us in like not to do bad things in
Yeah.
a community. So Stack Overflow is more into gamifications like reputation, badges, and all. So when you keep answering questions, you get that happiness when you get some reputation, and by the time when you are earning badges. But should I really target on earning badges as well as reputation? Anyway, if you answer a question, you are going to get a lot of reputation, because for an accepted answer you are getting 15 reputation, and for an upvote you are getting 10 reputation. But should I actually target on badges as well, in
Uh,
your opinion?
yeah, as I told you earlier, it's about the trust that you have on the developer who is posting the answer or something. So for the trust, as the trust increases, like your privileges and the reputation also increases. So it's about the number of questions and the answers you post rather than the badges. For example, like if you really want to get some badges, there are some easy easy way to get some badges. So something such as self-learner, what you can do is you can answer your own question and you will get a badge self-learner. And then autobiographer, like if you fill all your profile details, then you get that badge. and then there are something critic, supporter, editor, and then commentator. When you post some comments, you will get those, and then promoter. When you post upvote on some answer or questions, you will get that badge. So these are some of the badges that you can get easily.
Cool. So typing, like getting into what you said, I would like to share another experience of
Yeah,
mine.
sure.
I think I'm too much into experience. I think I'm sharing my experience, and
That's good.
yeah. So I have got downvote for one of my question. So that was just one downvote when I was saying that, and then what I did was, okay, I got this downvote. Uh, what I should do, and then what I actually did was let the question to be there until like let's see what is going to happen. And then after like 1 hour, I got like 4 5 downwards, and then I gained a batch after deleting that question, which is called peer pressure. So those kind of things like accidentally happen in this earning badges and all kind of.
Like if you want to really know about the badges, you can go to the FAQ pages, and they have listed down all the badges. It depends on the answers that you provide also. One of the important thing, one of the hardest badge that you can earn is the leadership, because there's a badge that when you post some, there's a reputation limit per day. You can get up to 21 upvotes per day.
Okay.
After that, that is limited. So if you get that 21 upvotes for 200 days, you will get a badge called Enlighten. That is one of the hardest badge that I am trying for now. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So that is actually a motivation factor
Yeah.
to gain. And if you are having that badge, you are actually having a very good reputation in the community as
Yeah.
well. So moving on, I think do we have some questions?
Yeah, there is a question from Indika here. So I got a comment from someone to an answer posted like this. Please provide the content of the link here as well. Links may die over time, and we would like to preserve the content. Any comment on? Yeah, as I told you earlier, like you have to always post the content about the link rather than actually posting the link, because after sometimes as the software evolves, like there are software they updates, right? Similarly, the blog content they might remove. So we have to always keep the content, like whatever the content that is already posted in the link, take the content whatever is necessary and post in the answer. So even though the link is deleted, the answers will stay, and users who come and visit this answer will have an idea about what is actually posted in the link. That is the reason they asked not to delete, like not to post only the link. You have to post the content inside it, whatever the necessary content. I think I have answered the question. Yeah.
Yeah, adding something to that. That is a very good practice in Stack Overflow, and there are like frameworks and stuff like that. Like in, let's say for an example, Angular. Uh, when Angular released the version 2, there was something that we can do with that. And then Angular released version 4, there might have been something changed or deprecated. So updating the answer would be a very good practice in Stack Overflow as well.
That is one of the reason, as I told earlier, how to post a good answer. Like you have to keep on updating it. Otherwise, if someone else feels that your answer is not up to date, they will post the answer, and that answer will come to the top. So that is one of the reason. It's an iterative process. You have to keep on updating it. Yeah.
Cool. So someone else might not be able to gain the reputation that you are going to get in that
Yes.
scenario.
Yes. You are correct.
Great. So even I have talked about some scenario that I have got downward. I think we better provide them who are watching this session, like what we should do when we get a downvote. Like I'm getting a downvote for my question. That is like minus 5 points
Yeah.
reputation. Yeah.
If it's
So
a question, you get -5. If it's an answer, you get -2. Yeah.
okay, so what we should do when we get an upvote or number of sorry, downwards. I'm sorry, downwards.
The one tactic I follow while answering this, like I always try to answer first. So there are like people who are try to answer, what they will do is sometimes I get downvotes. Maybe they try to post the same answer,
Okay.
and otherwise, if the quality is really low, they will try to downvote you. So that time, if I get like more than 6 or 5 downvotes, what I do is I always delete the answer immediately. But if I feel that I am right, and if I want to continue on it, I will keep on posting the answer and improve it, as I told you earlier. So that's the way one you can improve the answer. And for questions, you have to always keep it. I would say if you post the question, don't delete it. Like keep on improving it. As I told you earlier, provide information about it. That's the only way you can revoke the downvotes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, downvotes, when I get a downvote, that like it's better to edit and improve the answer
Yeah.
rather than removing the answer. That's one good practice I have to like follow, and you also have to follow in future. So, okay, in Stack Overflow, this thing, like it's a big ecosystem, right? People ask questions, answer the questions, and then who just there are people, set of people who just browse through the question. Anyway, at the end of the day, Stack Overflow is getting their, I mean, they're achieving their goal. You see some ads and all, but should I really upvote the answers of others, or should I really upvote the questions of others?
Actually, it depends. If you really feel like the only way you can give something back to the community is by upvoting. If you feel that the answer or question is correct, I would say go and upvote it, because that's the only way you can give back something to the questioner or answer who is posting. Yeah.
It's
So I
something
would
like
say
appreciating
appreciating.
someone.
Yeah.
It's always better to upvote the answers, and also appreciating point. I would like to touch this adding comments, because you are stuck in a problem and you are searching for an answer and you get your problem solved, and then you want to compliment them, you put the upvote, and then you go there into the comment section and you put thanks a lot, I've got this sorted because of this. Is that actually recommended or
Yeah,
not?
that is one of the thing I have faced several times. Like people from different countries actually thank me, and they have helped me in several ways. Even if I come into a problem, they will be always there. Like I get in touch with them through Skype or something. Like whenever I met a new guy, what I do is I get the contacts from him. So if I come across a problem, I can depend on them. So it's always better to comment and express your ideas. That's what I would say.
Yeah, and I've seen this like Stack Overflow has chatting channels, right? When someone is stuck in a problem, if they cannot continue through the comments or the answers, you can like this is only a feature that who has set of enough reputation. So if you have that, you can take them to a channel and you can actually chat with them in
Yeah,
Stack Overflow.
I would like to share one of my experience. Like what I
Great.
did was, there was a developer who was stuck in C sharp, I think. So he has actually posted one question which I couldn't get through. Like, what is the actual problem? So what I did was I asked the Skype ID and then I tried to log in and help him. But immediately I got a message from the moderator that I should not do that, because Stack Overflow is only for the you should not get the personal contact and try to log in. It's whatever you do it within the community, not like external. So that is one of the things that I would like to share. And I was suspended for like 2 weeks, because that is one of the experience that I would say. Like I was had the opportunity to close a question. Like if a normal person, new person comes and post a question, I can review it and close it. What I did was to get the number of questions that I reviewed to high. What I did was I was closing all the questions. So immediately I was suspended for 2 weeks. That is one of the experience that I wanted to share. Yeah.
So the questions are supposed to be closed or what?
Actually, I have closed one of the good questions, so they have actually banned me.
Okay, maybe you were thinking that it was a question that has to be closed, but in others' point of view, because opinions are different, right?
Yeah, actually, that was my mistake, because I wanted to get more points. So more number of close, the number of close questions you make, you get number of reputation. I mean, there's a
Okay.
reputation and a badge you get. So those days I was interested in it, and I closed it, and I couldn't continue for 2 weeks. That's a
See, too much
yeah.
motivation is also bad. Okay. So I have seen this in many people's profile who's having like a lot of reputation. Is O ready to help? I think it's
Yeah.
Stack Overflow ready to help. Do you like to share something about that as well?
That is one of the concept that they have brought in last year, because whatever you share, it's a tag that you have to follow. If you post some question in Twitter, if even if your profile in your profile, like if you have a profile for Stack Overflow, have the SO ready to help in your profile, so that they are randomly choosing some users and they are sending away the t-shirts. So hopefully you can get it if you have the tag, and always post some tweets with the tag, so it will be helpful when they filter the questions. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen this. Like Stack Overflow and Twitter has like very good connection with
Yeah.
all. Most of the people who ask the question, they actually share the question
Okay.
with those tags. Like if that is a question related to JavaScript or maybe Angular, they add these tags like Angular, TypeScript, and JavaScript,
Yeah.
ES6. Like they add all the tags that they can add. So there is a reach, and some people might ask even in Twitter, I think if that is something related to Angular, if you know someone who is actually into that technology, you can tag them and ask that question as well. I think I have asked from Saji several times, and Todd Moto, those are the people who are actually into Angular. So, and then Stack Overflow is a community which is under Stack Exchange. So there are other communities as well. So it's like computer science, startups, help desk. Are you active in other communities as well?
I was active in UX design, like
Okay.
other, and then programming, and then code review. There's a site for code review. If you feel that your code needs to be improved, then you can post it in code review. And then there are sites for networking, IT, mathematics. So those are the sites I was interested in, but I couldn't get the reputation what I got in Stack Overflow, because I was more concentrating on this side. But if you're interested in other fields, you can probably go into that and deep dive into it. Yeah.
I have two more points to touch on. Before that, I'll give you a chance to like say something to whoever watching that
Yeah.
has been not said earlier. If you like to share something or if you like to say something, or
Yeah.
maybe you can say like I've heard that you have learned Angular JS just through answering and asking questions,
I
things
would
like that.
I would say not to do that, because that is one of the bad way that you learn a new technology. But I had no other way, so I what I did was I learned the technology through Stack Overflow, because uh, I didn't want to go through the documents, because I had to learn in quick time. So I was actually parallelly learning and then answering questions. That's the way I learned it. But it's a Stack Overflow driven development, as I taught you earlier.
Yeah.
So it's not the best way, but there are pros and cons if you want to learn quick. But you should not do that when you are learning a new technology. And regarding the experience, Stack Overflow experience, you get to learn new people. I mean, new technology, and you get to learn new people, and you are exposing your experience to outside world. So there's a chance of getting you to outside world. And one of the reason that I got MVP award is through the Stack Overflow. They
Okay.
consider this a lot. So I would ask other guys to contribute to the community, and this is one of the highlight that I would say.
Cool. So since you have been talked about rewards and whatever you get after contributing, I think we should actually talk about developer story as well. In Stack Overflow developer story. Uh,
Actually, they have two sides of it. One is for the employers, and the other one is for the employees, like users. What you can do is, most of the foreign companies that I would share, like they recruit based on Stack Overflow reputation. If they want someone, there are filters that can be applied. And if you want to get some person from this particular location on this particular technology, you can go through the ranking system and then get the person. And for developer story, like you can update whatever your work you have done, and whatever the best answer you have posted, like whatever the best question you have asked, it all will be highlighted. So it is. And the other thing is, you can include your social network links as well. So it is like in one view you can get the information of a developer or software engineer you would like to hire for. So
yeah,
that is.
like CV is a thing of past that they say,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
what I prefer about developer stories more than LinkedIn, it has a timeline where you can add milestones. If you write a blog post, you can add that featured applications that you have and open source contribution that you have done. I mean, you can actually connect all those to your developer story. So you might get chance to get hired as well. Like, have you got any chances?
Yeah, I got 3 chances, but I haven't tried for it. I haven't gone further for it because I would like to. That is one of the questions that I should not answer.
Exactly. I just touched on it. Yeah. Hopefully Saji will be staying with us and
Yeah.
contributing more for our community. And then like we should actually talk about Stack Overflow Query API a bit
Yeah.
as well. Like within 1-2 minutes.
Yeah, that is one of the things that I wanted to implement as a like project also, because what I wanted to do was actually, if I want to know about you as a developer, we can bring everything from the Stack Overflow. So I have started one repository for this to get the information of a developer from GitHub and Stack Overflow, and you can use the Stack Query Exchange API. It gives all the information, whatever it gets updated every week on Sunday, and there are some interesting queries you can go through. Like you can find the people from your same company, and you can compare the reputation what they have. One of the tactics that I did was to get the reputation from the Sri Lanka to be in the first position. I always check the reputation of the other guy, and I always try to compete with him. So I had the target to achieve, and I hopefully I achieved it. That is, it is always better to set the target and you go follow it. So this Stack Query Exchange API helps through that. Like you can see the statistics and what are the ways you can improve your profile. Yeah.
Great. That was a really insightful session with
Yeah.
Sajeetharan. I think he has shared a lot of experience and which we might take in our future as a lesson. And thanks a lot, Saji, for joining for this session and sharing all this. Uh,
Yeah,
Signing off.
it
Yeah.
was a good session, and I would like to invite all the developers to contribute more to the community by I think Stack Overflow is the way for it if you start. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks. Thanks a lot.